Hey everyone, Caleb with the Antique Book Collective, and today I'm getting to you guys with a video that I'm sure a lot of Type A people have gotten mad at me over, and it's why in the world do I store all these books on their side? So guys, there is a big reason for that, and that reason is because antique books, you're actually supposed to store them on their sides. The reason for that, folks, is because when you have enough old books, antique books, they're sort of heavy. The actual text block, that's what all the pages are, that actually, with time, actually starts sagging and sagging and sagging, and it can cause damage to the binding of your actual book. So guys, right here is actually a pretty good illustration of what sort of damage that we start to see, not towards the binding, but on the actual text block itself. So as you guys can see, we have all the normal pages right here, but then once we get right here, you can see it actually has been rubbed smooth, and it's like smooth. And the reason for that, guys, is because these books, this little set of books, here's one, there's the other two, it's been stored upright for most of its life, and as it's been stored upright, it actually has begun to sag. So as you guys can actually see right here, you can actually see some of the sagging right there. So guys, when you have the sagging like this, it puts unnecessary stress on the book's binding itself. So I know I'm indicating at the spine, but the binding right here, guys, is what you're getting more stress on, and that actually can cause this isn't necessarily the best illustration for this because it's actually been repaired, but the damage that you guys can actually have get caused, man, I wish I could show you this better, but is it basically gets pulled away, and as it gets pulled away, you actually sometimes have on the man, there's just no good illustration for this right here, but you actually have it so you actually get some tearing going along the tops right here. And I don't have any other books right now within arm's reach that are better illustrations than this, unfortunately. I sell through a lot of books a lot of the time. I know that these books back here don't seem to move very often, but I promise I'm getting movement in my business. But a lot of these books, guys, you actually have it so the text block itself starts ripping away from the actual binding. And of course, that is not just because you're storing them upright. There are other reasons why the books will actually have the text block tear away or the covers tear away. Something about storing them upright, you actually can have the covers get a little bit more damage because of how you're storing them when they're upright like that. When you're storing them on their sides like this, the covers get a lot less wear and tear on them, which is why I personally love storing them like this, and then why a lot of people recommend doing it like this. A lot of different antique shops will actually store their books like that because it is a whole lot better. Of course, if we're dealing with mass market paperbacks or just normal paperback books or something like that, you could store them upright because you're not putting any stress on anything because the cover is flush with the text block. But with hardcover books, I'm sure we've all seen them, we've all felt them, we have all seen that these the cover extends beyond the actual text block. That is because it is protecting the paper. And guys, when you're storing them upright, straight up and down, like this, you're not protecting the paper anymore. You're actually damaging the paper, you're damaging the cover. You're doing more harm than good when you're storing them upright. In fact, there are, back in the day, like the 1800s and older, they actually had all the books stored like this almost all the time. And I don't know if this is exactly the reason for it, but I would strongly suspect that that is why in a lot of books that we see nowadays, you have all the text for a lot of the cover spines of books that we see. We have the text written sideways. Of course, all those books are, let's face it, it's going to be a longer title on these books and they want larger typography, so there are other reasons as well. But a lot of the books that I come across that are older will have the text written side to side as well. And a lot of these books, they'd also have really cool artwork on the text block itself. In fact, do I have any right here? Oh, I don't have any right now, but there are books that have something called marbling, which is a really cool effect that they did on the books. They used like a special kind of ink thing, a lot of cool stuff there to give you a cool effect on the text block itself for when it was laid on its side. They would have all these different sorts of things that they'd use to decorate the text block itself, and you could admire it because the books were stored sideways. It was really cool, but there are a lot of other things about this. But guys, I'm sure a lot of you are still going to be mad at me for storing the books like this. Let's just face it. Storing it like that beats we've all seen the meme where the lady stores her books like this to make it aesthetically pleasing and you can't read the book because she stores it pages out. That is absolute anarchy. I will not support that. But there are a lot of reasons why you want to store your books on their sides. Of course, if you have brand new books and you just want to put them on the shelf and have it so you can read the spines how you normally are used to seeing it, go ahead, do whatever you want. But if you are looking to actually conserve and preserve and make sure your books don't get damaged, to make sure that they don't get harmed in the like 55 years, 100 years that you're storing your books, you want to store them sideways. I mean, guys, these books right here, this first one, I know I keep on grabbing this one. I promise the other ones are real too. See, I'm touching these other ones too. But I know that this one right here was a really good example of how smooth it gets down on the base. This book, guys, is... I'm just going to open it up and show you, actually. Excuse me. Those aren't loose pages. I promise it's just extra stuff. This one is from 1835, as you guys can see down there. So obviously, when it's this old, it's going to get some sagging going on. If you were over 100... what is that? Man, that is almost 200 years old. If you were that old, you have a lot of stuff sagging as well. So obviously, you will get sagging on that. But if that book was stored on its side for all those years, you would not have that sagging on the text block. You would have a lot less of the different damage on the book that you get like that, because it was stored upright all this time. You have that damage. But if you stored it on its side, it would not be there. Something else that you see with a lot of books, in fact, those ones that I already showed you are a good example of it. Excuse me as I look away. Here's a newer book. This book here is just from the 1940s. But as you guys can see right here, this one from the 1940s also has, I like this one actually because the discoloration. So here's just the normal page, but then you can see right here it's been worn down. It's a lot lighter because it has sagged through the years. And again, guys, this one is from not the 40s, sorry, it's 1928. Sorry, I think I've seen other ones from the 40s that are this, but something else that I'd like to highlight to you guys is all the damage down here. So guys, this is called shelfware, and you get shelfware when you put it on the shelf like this, and you're taking it in and out, just dragging it along the shelf. That is going to cause damage as time goes on. So obviously, we do have those similar spots up here on top of the book. That does happen every now and then, but by and large, most of the time that I have this sort of wear on the books, it's because of the shelf itself. You also get some damage along the spine from all that sort of stuff, so that is a big concern when you are storing your books like that. So with that... oh, I just hit the book. I just caused some more damage. Oh man. But with all that said and done though, guys, I do want to highlight that you can do whatever you want with your own books. For me, I am buying and selling these books. Of course, some of these are also just for my own collection. I like showing them off. But a lot of these books, guys, if you want to sell them and you want them to like be in the best condition they can be, you'll want to store them on their side. In addition to storing them on your side, on their sides, you also can maximize on shelf space a little bit more. If my shelf was this big, I could only store like coffee table books that are 16 inches tall, you know. So obviously, it is something that you sort of can mix and match however you want to do your business. For me, I'm doing this business and trying as best I can to keep the books in as good of condition as possible. But of course, it's your own business, it's your own collection. Do whatever you want. I am just highlighting this to you guys so you can be aware of the damage that you actually are doing to your books by storing them the right way, which is actually potentially the wrong way if you want to make sure that they are not getting hurt. So with that said and done though, guys, I know I mentioned that some of these books are for sale, some of them are my own collection, but I also want to highlight these ones right here. These books are actually going to be given away for free once we hit 1,000 subscribers. We're actually quite close to that right now, so I'm excited for that. But if you guys do want to be entered to win that, I recommend checking out the giveaway video on my actual YouTube channel. So you can click that down below. Of course, once we get past 1,000 subscribers, we'll probably do something else for some other mile marker. We'll see. But for now, that's the only giveaway. So if you guys obviously are here well after I'm past 1,000 subscribers, those books are going to be gone by then. But do keep that in mind. So with that said and done though, guys, if you want to learn more about conserving your books, repairing your books, all that sort of stuff, I go over that in my channel. So be sure to subscribe. You can do it there or down there. Check out one of my other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.